This video is about creativity and workshops, specifically workshops with pharmaceutical sales meetings, because it's a very unique thing that I do working with them, because they are typically 2 to 3 times a year. My clients will have sales meetings, and in those sales meetings there's some training, and part of that training is creating experiences and workshops that keeps everyone engaged. They learn something and they walk out of there with essentially meeting the business objectives. So that's what we're going to talk about. And this goes actually out to a friend of mine, Andrew Moy, who last time I was working with him, we were just in the Uber ride back to the airport, and he just asked me a simple question. He goes, how do you do this? Like, how do you come up with all this stuff all the time? So that's what I'm going to share. There are plenty of things out there in terms of jump-starting your creativity and how do you what do you do with that? But the first thing to understand is that nothing creative is created in a vacuum. It always has to involve other things and other people, because that's just where creativity comes from. I might have an idea of a workshop where, I don't know, I want people to do the tango in a workshop, and then someone else will be like, yeah, you know what I love about that idea is that they're going to do the tango and we're going to have them sing at the same time. And you're like, you know what, this is the great basis and foundation of a workshop. I think we've got a winner here. Now, reality, it doesn't necessarily start with the tango and singing, but it does start with that idea that you put one idea out there, you put something out there, you've got to take that risk of just throwing something on the table and say, how about this? Why don't we try this? And then having other people around the table that say, wow, I like that idea, and here's what we're going to do. So it's that whole concept of kind of the yes and the building on. Now, I know what I do personally for myself is that I do a lot of, let's say, working with other people, with my clients, and that's how we create very unique experiences. But I also need to come to the table with a bunch of ideas. Like, I can't just kind of walk into a meeting with my pharma clients and be like, okay, let's create a sales meeting. And I go, what ideas? Well, I don't have any ideas, but let's hear what you had for breakfast. And maybe that's the start of that. I can't really do that. Mind you, that actually might be the start of a good workshop. How do you come up with unique and creative ideas for workshops on a continuous basis for the objective of hitting the learning objectives for what the business needs? Like, what are the business objectives of this meeting? What do the reps need to be able to do when they come out of this? But then also, how do you entertain them? Like, how do you keep them engaged? Because I inherently believe as adults, we learn when we're enjoying ourselves, when we're having fun. Now, this is not about going out, doing, I don't know, zip lining or whatever as a team. No, this is about when you're stuck in a room, in a hotel, in a foreign city, you're away from home, but yet you've got to go through this meeting. How do you make that fun and entertaining for them? I believe you can create that environment of where it is, they're having a good time, they're enjoying themselves, and they're getting value out of what's going on. That is really where adults learn. Because mixing all the other stuff, make it applicable to them, make it that they're solving a problem, they're helping themselves out in terms of what they're doing for their field, so it's relevant, and then it's timely. Like, don't teach them to do something that they won't use 6 months into the future. Make sure it's something that they can actually execute as soon as they go out into the field. Wrap all that stuff up together with a lot of fun and enjoyment, getting people engaged. And I find that's how you have winning sales meetings and winning meetings with your people, so they stay engaged. Now, granted, you do all this fun stuff, you still always have to have kind of that application. Like, how do you actually get people to apply this, make sure they're using it before they go out to the field? So you obviously have to have either role play or discussions or presentations where they are demonstrate what they're doing. So I got to circle back, right? Andrew asked the question, how do you always kind of keep making this creative, making it different? So the first thing is that you're never in a bubble. You're never in a vacuum. The second is you always want to play this yes and game where you're always adding on. And third, you need to drill new wells all the time, which means that I can't always go back to that same kind of, let's say, creative spark that I had from 5 years ago, or the same reference of what workshops and activities for sales representatives will look like from, 4 or 5 years ago. It says every year I need to be working on myself in terms of my development so that everything stays fresh. The other thing is that you can never get too attached to your idea. You have to be able to let your idea go if it doesn't work. Be free with the ideas, throw the ideas out. If the ideas stick, then they don't, that's fine. But if they don't stick, don't stay attached to it. Doesn't matter, just throw more out. Just kind of keep throwing out some ideas. Doesn't matter how dumb or how stupid you might think they are, just put it out there. And then the other thing is you need to reciprocate. You need to make sure that you are yes-anding someone else's idea. That you don't immediately go into like, oh no, we can't do that, or we've done that in the past, that didn't work. Don't go down that road. That's the best way to really squash any kind of creativity. So make sure that you're yes-anding as well, that you're that ideal creativity partner. Okay, so let me see if I can sum up what I've been talking about. Never be creative in a vacuum. Always do it with someone else. Play the yes and game. Play the yes and game with other people, and play it with yourself to build on your own ideas and have more that come out as well. Take inspiration from different areas, either from pop culture or whatnot, and invest in yourself. Invest in yourself and your own development. Put yourself into different experiences so that you can pull some of those experiences, like these one-offs, into things that you're doing. That's all I got for you right now. Let's ride.